The story of the Honeycreeper.
The formation of islands involve hotspots, which are places where there is magma formation. The ocean plates move over the solid, dense rock, which is where the magma formation is. The magma from the hotspot flows to the ocean's surface and creates an island. Since the ocean plates are constantly moving, the Hawaiian Islands usually come in long chains.
Because the islands are made from lava and devoid of life, all life must get there by dispersal. But because the islands are very far from the mainland, it is highly improbable for animals to get to the islands, which is why there are very few types of animals. The grosbeak, the ancestor of the common Hawaiian honeycreeper, was one of the few that succeeded in dispersing to the island.
My friend and I both have the same common ancestry, the pine grosbeak. A grosbeak dispersed all the way to a Hawaiian island, and through speciation we became unique.
According to the biological species concept, being a species means that you are part of an interbreeding natural population that is reproductively separated from other such groups. This can happen by way of sympatric, allopatric, or parapatric speciation.
When our friends, the great-great-great and so on grandparent, the pine grosbeak, made it to the islands, the new population of birds were completely isolated from those on the mainland and were undergoing allopatric speciation due to a geographic barrier, the ocean. On the islands, the birds evolved and continue to evolve by way of sympatric and parapatric speciation, which means that even though they might live in the same area, other factors separate them, such as food choice, mate preference, or ecological separation. Some of the honeycreepers are still undergoing allopatric speciation within the islands, separated by different geographic barriers such as mountains or the ocean between islands.
These effects aren't limited to one single island. From the nearest island to the mainland, birds continue to emigrate to new islands as they are formed. The new, small populations on these islands are then subject to adaptive radiation, often taking different forms than on other islands due to local conditions or simple chance. This often leads to even more species of honeycreepers, many of whom will be endemic to their island, meaning they are found nowhere else in the world.
Since there are so few animals on the newly formed island, there are a lot of ecological niches, or roles in the environment for the birds to fill, which is why more species of the honeycreeper evolved from the initial species to fill that role. Notice the thicker, stronger beak? The first bird can only eat small, soft bugs, so a new species diverged to eat the harder bugs that the older birds didn't. When this happens in many environments on the entire island, it leads to adaptive radiation, or the fast evolving of one species to fill many available niches.
Another effect that leads us to adaptive radiation is genetic drift, or evolution due solely to random chance. This is more effective in smaller populations, such as those on a small, geographically isolated island, because there are fewer genes in the population to cancel out the effects of genetic drift.
Hawaii is unique in that it has a diverse array of microhabitats. One such effect that causes the microhabitats is the orographic effect. The orographic effect is a result of mountains forcing moist air up, which results in rain in that particular area. This also explains why one side of the island is considered the wet side and the other side of the island is considered the dry side. The many different habitats on the Hawaiian Islands include frozen mountaintops, tropical moist rainforest, tropical dry forest, as well as tropical grassland, shrubland, and savanna. These diverse habitats are called rough adaptive landscapes, and these different habitats explain why one species of animal can, over time, evolve into many different species of animals depending on what habitat it decides to take on, which influences how its evolution occurs. The Hawaiian Islands are an extreme example of the effects we discussed, but they occur in ecosystems worldwide.
It all started with this guy.
Caw!